All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, September the 6th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. And he seems to be sucking on something. I don't know what that is.
No, it's a pipe.
It's a pipe. Oh, he's got a pipe. Oh, why do you have a pipe today?
Oh, because I'm reading and it makes you look smarter, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Need all the help I can get.
Why are you reading?
I actually haven't smoked this thing in
years.
Very, very long time. What am I reading? Well, if you remember, what was it about? 4 weeks ago, we had Tara Nurin on.
1, 2, 3, 4-ish. Yeah, 4 or 5. 4 or 5.
4 or 5. And on the show, I ordered the book while we were doing the show, and it came, and I am now reading it.
A Woman's Place is in the Brew House.
Yeah, it's a fascinating read. I'm on chapter 6. The only reason I'm on chapter 6 is because, only on chapter 6 is because Netflix released Sandman as a series, and we haven't been to watch that.
There you go.
So
why are you reading it today, though? Is my question.
Oh, well, because I just recently got it.
Oh, all right. Well, fair enough.
No, but it's also Read a Book Day.
Happy Read a Book Day, folks. Happy Read a Book Day. So get out there and read a book, or stay inside
after the show.
Read a book after the show.
Exactly. Yes, stay inside because if you're where we are in Jersey, it is a sloppy, soggy, steamy day out there.
Crappy.
And it's going to be the same thing tomorrow.
Just so you're aware, okay, if you watch multiple podcasts that we do, this is indeed the beer podcast. It's not the sports podcast.
No, It looks like it is because we're both in our Giants blue. Mm-hmm. We both have jerseys from the same team, same year.
Mm-hmm. This is true. Same team year, same Super Bowl win, same Super Bowl victory, Super Bowl 25, and that would be who are you wearing there? What's that name?
That'd be Mark Bavaro.
Mark Bavaro. I've heard of him before.
Yeah, he's a beast. You've got
I've got Mr. Larry
Tyler.
Larry Tyler.
LT, man, changed the way the game is played. But
yes, he most certainly
did. But it is a beer podcast, so I'm pouring.
It is a beer podcast. So yeah, I'm gonna have a beer too. I'm gonna start with a beer, and you're starting with a beer too, right? So
well, I'm gonna be starting with a beer called Rising Tide by Coastal Brewer.
Oddly enough, I'm starting with a beer called Rising Tide from Coastal Brewworks.
Let's see how this is.
Let's see how it is. So I'm gonna pour mine because I haven't had any of this yet.
That's a yummy Hefeweizen. This show brought to you by Coastal Brewworks.
There you go. Coastal Brewworks, everything you need in coastal beer.
Yes. And they're not paying me to say that.
No, they are not.
So. They're paying John for his time. They should get a rebate.
Well, once in a while, there's a rebate.
Yeah.
So there we go. Cool. We throw this up. Hold on. This is your crawl for your beer.
Okay. Are you kidding me? Are you friggin' kidding me? I've been spelling it wrong the whole time. I put the I before the E.
No, the E comes.
This is not after C.
Well, but we're not. But that's not in Germany. Also, it comes after C.
We're not in Germany.
I before E, except after C, and when in Germany. So that's
but there's only one problem with that.
What's that?
We're America.
America, yeah.
We're in America.
This is a Bavarian style of beer. So.
Brewed in.
Anyway, brewed in Marca. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna put my crawl up now too. There we go.
Okay.
All right, there you go. So, cheers.
Prost.
Proper
glassware. Not really.
Not so much, but close enough.
If it was using proper glassware, I'd probably pour it into my source glass. No, not my Schneiderweiss glass.
Schneiderweiss. So we got to put it in the Schneiderweiss. Yeah, I was going to, but I didn't.
I'll
do it next time.
Like I said to Carrie earlier, this Hefeweizen's classic style, classic flavors. The quintessential German beer, right?
Sure.
Oddly enough, not one of my favorite styles. So I said to her,
you know that.
I said, have you ever seen me order a Hefe in a brewery? She's like, no. I said, there was one exception.
Schneiderweiss, of course.
You got to
there. But of course, you only ordered that after you ordered Tap 6, though.
Our Tap 6 was first. I didn't want anything getting in the way of my palate on that one.
Not at all.
No.
So Yeah, this came out very good. I'm very happy with this.
Yeah, it's a lovely beer. It's love that it's got a slight like wheat tang to it, right? It's bright. You do get the banana esters, but they're not like that.
Not your face.
Not that citrus peanut, circus peanut, banana bubblegum kind of flavor.
Right.
So, which means really great restraint on the yeast. Treated the yeast well, and the peppery phenols just balance the thing out.
Very nice. Yep.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely.
It's lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's
lovely.
It's lovely. And kudos to Mr. Potensky as well.
To our erstwhile producer.
There you go.
Now the producer of Coastal Brewworks.
Producer of beer for Coastal Brewworks.
Brewworks. There we go.
There you go. And the reason it's Rising Tide, and just like I'll throw the label up again. There you go.
That's the seal of Bavaria, is it not?
I'll make it easier. Hold on. Let's just put this up. So it'll be
the whole thing.
Yeah. There we go. So there we go. So it's the Bavarian coat of arms, and inside the inner coat is the
there's two logos from America in there.
The two waves, and then for Coastal, and then it's actually the Freising Germany coat of arms. Inside the Bavarian coat of arms. So.
The only thing is those things in the other corners look like the Cadillac logo.
It's actually the.
I'm not kidding. It kind of looks like the Cadillac.
It's actually the Freising.
Put back up for a second, because my first comment when I first saw the label to John, upper right hand corner of the shield is the proper wave direction, correct? Mm-hmm. The bottom left hand is them taking their logo and making it go backwards. And I think that's, I don't know.
Our listeners don't really need to know this.
I'm superstitious. I don't think I mess with your logo.
Well, we actually use it both ways. So we'll leave it that way. And in any event,
we'll leave that one alone.
Where I was trying to get to this was before. Oh my God, a tangent in the show. Imagine that.
I've never heard of such a thing.
It's Freising Tide because Weihenstephaner is in Freising, Germany, so it's paying homage to the granddaddy of all hefts.
Just north and east of München.
München, yes, that is correct.
Little north and mostly north and a little east of the airport.
Right, and then
the only reason we went to Schneiderweiss instead of Weihenstephaner was because I don't think they took reservations. It would have taken longer to get there and back, even though it was close to the airport. It wasn't the train, and I don't think they served food. I think that was the other problem.
Weihenstephaner doesn't know.
Yeah, so that's why we wound up at Schneiderweiss instead, so we could have something to eat on our flight, and before connecting our flight to Italy.
There you go. And fun fact for you: if you go all the way up to the north end of Bavaria, still in Bavaria, but all the way up to the north end of Bavaria, there's a town. I'll spell it for you: Fladungen.
Fladungi.
And
Fladungen.
Fladungen. There you go.
So that is the place of the Fladungs.
And they did not name the town after my family name. They named my family name after the town.
Well, that was common in, I believe, in German names.
In Germany, and a lot of
German, France, and Italy. You're normally named after where you're from.
Right.
In Germany, it was just a truncation of the name of this town, city, village, whatever. Sure. And in France and Italy, you just put a "de" in front of it. Mm-hmm. And in Ireland, you put an O in front of it, right? It's O.
Yes.
It's short for of.
Right.
Right. So yeah, it's common. It's common practice in a lot of places in Europe.
Sure. Exactly.
So now I do have one thing here, John.
You do only have one thing?
Your background is now inaccurate.
Why is that?
There's only 3 cans from Coastal there. You need to go fix that. There we go. They're not in the correct order, but okay. And you know what? That table looks like it's much further behind you than it really is. I really thought you would have to get up. It's either that, you've got really long arms.
I'd say go gadget arms, yeah. Well, I like this time of year because you can actually see because I don't plug it in. You can actually see the Dogfish Head neon written. The Dogfish Head.
That's when it's dark outside. Yeah.
Anyway, all right, our show.
What do we do? Well, our show, we were going to talk a little about football, but we have some beer stuff to talk about.
Well, we just,
Oh, I don't know if you saw. Did you see what John Starodumsky sent us?
I did not. Let's check it out.
So he had asked, he was asking us what the all Czech brewery was that we talked about on the show, and that's of course Cohesion in Denver. And he
must have just asked you because I didn't get that.
No, you're on the. It's in the Facebook.
I'm there right now. I don't see it at all.
Really, I see you on there. You're part of it. I don't know. I don't know why you don't see it, but you're in that group. At any rate.
Oh wait! I just refreshed it. Here it is.
There you go. So what he's bringing up to us is the fact that there is now in Biddeford, Maine, an all Czech brewery opening up.
There's an all Czech brewery opening up in Biddeford, really?
In Biddeford, Maine, called Sacred Profane. And their goal is to make the greatest pivo on the planet.
That's their goal.
That's their goal. It's going to be really hard to do if you're not actually in Czech Republic or Chechnya. No, Chechnya is something else. Czechia. I don't forget how they say that in Czech. We call it the Czech Republic, at any rate. So kudos to them for the confidence. We'll say confidence.
Hey, you know what? More power to them. I hope they do.
Yeah.
That just means we're going to drink great beer.
And even if they don't, if they come close,
that's fine too.
We're going to Biddeford. We'll make a stop in Portsmouth first. Odd Ale Wives is on the way up there. Odd Ale is not odd. Odd by Nature is on the way up there. And within about 10 minutes will be a place that if someone specific hears that we're going, will make us go there and mule him back beer, even though he claims to not like beer anymore.
Well, I think they do brew Modelo at Barrel Souls.
Do they really? That is
they actually take Modelo and barrel age it. All right. And they add some adjuncts to it.
Yeah, some lactose.
It's a pastry Modelo.
Pastry Modelo. A sour pastry Modelo. We're of course we're making fun of Joe Granite. He likes to tease that he doesn't like beer anymore and only drinks Modelo.
Exactly.
And considering what apparently he drank last night, I believe it. Right, so margaritas, Modelo's, and what was it, Malibu Bay Breeze, or what was it?
Some other cocktail he had.
Yeah.
So throw this up really quick. Brian Boak actually says, "Hi guys, hi Brian."
I've heard of him.
I've heard of him. Wait, I mean, you know what? I'm thinking we might have to get him on soon.
He was because the show this year. This is the show before football season begins.
Right.
Last year, we did the same thing. We were in our Giants garb, wearing pretty much the same jerseys.
I believe we were, yeah.
Yeah, because I only have one Giants jersey.
Me too.
Yeah, you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 18. You have to count them one of these days.
One of these days.
And Brian came on the show, and because we were talking about tailgating, because Brian Boak runs one of the largest, best tailgates in MetLife Stadium. Used to be called Giant Stadium.
It was Giant Stadium. At one point, it was Giant Stadium.
It was.
At one point, I liked the stadium better. The actual stadium, not,
You like MetLife Stadium better.
I like Giant Stadium better.
Yeah, I was going to say, because MetLife Stadium is full of, dead ends and wrong turns. And
you
can't get there from here.
I don't like it. Yeah, you can't get there from here. You got to go down a flight of stairs and over to come up again to get to the other side of this wall.
Yeah, it's a really silly layout.
Exactly.
And I don't know. And let's see. There's not been all that great football played there as of late.
Well, we're hoping that changes this year, or at least starts to change this year. Brian also said he bought a new toy.
Oh boy.
I'm
excited and terrified at the same time.
Little both at the same time. So we'll have to find out. Like I said, we're going to have to get him on soon.
Soon? How soon?
I don't know. We'll have to come up with a good idea of when to bring him on. He also just said it's still Giant Stadium. Yes, Brian, you're absolutely right. It's still Giant Stadium.
And, Brian, what are you doing in about 10, 15 minutes?
We'll have to
We'll
see. I wasn't going to go there right away. Dave just jumps right into it. So.
No, that was you. See, you were supposed to roll with the, hey, on the show we invited him on and pretend like it's not set up.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
That's what I was doing, and you.
All right, so well, it's not really. So
blew that the hell.
We go now. Let's throw Doug Smith's up really quick. Doug Smith said they have brought in a brewing system from Czechia, aka Czech Republic.
Yeah,
I'm hoping to visit by the end of the year. Czechia, yeah. And he also said the brewers have chops, so they could pull off perfect pivos. Say that fast 5 times. Pull off perfect pivos.
Precisely
pull off perfect pivos.
Well, you know what? Carrie and I will be going to New Hampshire end of September, beginning of October, long weekend. And maybe we'll have some time to jump over there. Maybe. Just don't tell Joe Grant. I'm not muling him back beer.
Oh, no. Well, you can't. You're not allowed. The state of New Jersey, the ABC came up with this rule that says anybody that does a craft beer podcast is not allowed to mule beer back from anywhere in the Northeast.
And actually, Barrel Souls has a rule: anybody who drinks Modelo can't have our beer.
That's another rule. Right. And Brian is drinking a beer in his Giants tailgate room. I can't wait to see that. We're going to have to get him on soon. We'll have to figure that out. Anyway, all right. So let's do this really quick. You mentioned that about the brewery up in Maine. Yep. I just want to mention a couple things too, really quick. This past weekend, 2 breweries, actually 3, I believe, but 2 that I only went to 2 of them, opened up this weekend. And ironically, both of them were in former brewery locations.
Okay, so the one that was in Demented is now.
No.
Oh, that one's open.
That's open already. Yeah, Ashton's open already.
Ashton's open, right?
So I'll start with Twin Lights. Twin Lights has been contract brewing for about 3-4 years now, and they just opened up in Jug Handle's old space in Tinton Falls. Now Jug Handle did not close; they've moved a while ago, a couple of years ago. They moved into a bigger space, also in Tinton Falls, only about a mile or so away. But their former space remained empty. I think they were using it for something too. But Twin Lights Brewing has taken over that space, and they now operate their brewery and taproom out of that space on Asbury Avenue in Tinton Falls.
And most of us have most people in this state have no excuse not to get there, because probably about 75% of the people that go and visit Kane Brewing drive right past it.
Yep, right there. So there's no need to not stop by and say hi to Will and the guys. Tell them we sent you. They're brewing really good beer. The taproom is really nice. Well, we're going to post pictures from both of them. I took a bunch of pictures this weekend, so we'll put them up on the Facebook page and the website.
And it was number 2.
Check it out. And the number 2 was one, and I'm not that I'm
making one and two,
making 1 and 2, or pushing one or pushing the other one.
Just the second one that you visited
is Wild Air Brewing, and that is
Fresh 80.
Doug Fresh. We've had Doug on the show talking about Wild Air Brewing.
Actually, they had him on the show the day I was at Schneiderweiss.
This is very true.
Right?
This is true. Yep. You were not on the show.
That's why I was not on the show, because
Matt and I were talking to him. But he's brewing, and it's Nick and Bert from Last Wave Brewing. They opened up a second brewery, and it's Wild Air. Now they're in the former Dark City space.
Right, so, in Asbury Park.
Right on Main Street.
Right by the railroad tracks.
Corner 2nd and Main. And it's they're putting out really nice beers. And the reason I'm saying about that is because they're putting out a bunch of Czech styles too. I had a Tomave Pivo, I had a Czech 12, but they also had a few other things too. As you know, I also had a New Zealand Pils, which was spot on. It was really nice. They have a house lager as well. I had a they have a few wild ales too, sours, as you would expect. Yeah, anybody knows Dougie Fresh, but they had a mango sour, which was pretty damn tasty. Cranberry, they had a few things. And they had about 12 on, maybe a little bit more.
Just down the road from them was Asbury Park Brewing, but they're moving their tap room.
They're moving over to Cookman, yes, and it hasn't happened yet. So right now they're just putting beer out.
They're just production facility right now. The tap room's closed.
Mm-hmm. And then
because you used to be able to stagger back and forth between them and Dark City.
Sure. Oh yeah, you can walk back and forth between the two, but now it's not. You can, but it's a much longer walk down to Cookman.
Technically, you could walk all the way down to Kane from there if you want.
I mean, you can walk anywhere if you really want to walk. Yeah. Like you can walk from Maine to Florida, but it's going to take you a little longer.
Like they say, everywhere it's within walking distance if you have the time.
Exactly. So, but anyway, so go see all those guys. They all opened up this weekend. We'll get more of them on. Again, we had Nick and Bert on for Last Wave back in March. Dougie was on talking about talking about Wild Air in April. We got to get Will on from Twin Lights and a few others. So more beer in New Jersey, even though like a broken record, we keep talking about it with the New Jersey ABC. But fingers crossed, things will begin to change a little bit. But anyway.
And while John was visiting new breweries, I was bouncing around South Jersey, hitting some breweries I haven't hit. And I got to tell you, Hamilton is a very nice destination. I mean, everyone, you go down there, you're going down there for 3 threes because that's what everyone's heard of. But Vinyl and Chimney Rustic, quality beer they're putting out down there. So the triumvirate of that, just go down and get yourself an Airbnb and just
absolutely. And I mean, if you like wine too, on your way down, you can stop at Bellanzano.
Bellanzano is a beautiful, beautiful space. Oh my God. We drove past there and like, it's a shame we're just drinking beer today because we could definitely do that. You'd have to do that another day.
They're making great wine, and it's a beautiful space, a beautiful tasting room, beautiful grounds. It's nice, really nice.
Oh, and getting it's a Mexican place there, Marquez. It looks like a little rundown diner, putting out really good Mexican food.
Oh, you're talking about in Hamilton?
Yep, in Hamilton.
Right near Chimney Rustic.
It's across the tracks from Chimney Rustic. You gotta go. It's about 2.5 blocks.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool space. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, it's a good one.
All right. So now for the beer podcast. This show is our traditional NFL kickoff. Not that we have to do an NFL kickoff. We're not really going to talk. We're going to talk a little bit about football, but
let's face it. It's not exactly an NFL kickoff. It's a giant season.
It's a giant season kickoff. A little bit. We'll talk NFL a little bit, but for the most part, we're going to be talking about the fringe stuff. We're going to be talking about the beer. We're going to be talking about the food, so forth and so on. And there might even be somebody that we bring on.
Jeez, I wonder who it is.
I'm not sure. We'll have to find that out. But to start it off, though.
Is it someone who commented already?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right. So to start off with, though, we're gonna switch gears up, and I'm gonna ask Dave a couple questions. He can ask them back of me, of course, if he'd like to. He doesn't have to, but I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna ask Dave a couple questions.
Okay, ask me a few questions. Trivia questions. My brain.
What was your very first NFL memory?
I was probably
back to diapers.
Yeah, I was probably like 3 or 4. I remember my earliest favorite team.
Wait! You were only 3 or 4?
I was only 3 or 4.
Was this back when Jim Thorpe was playing? Or
it was a little after Thorpe's time, and Thorpe never played in the NFL, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
NFL? No, I thought he played
for the Giants.
Was
one
the
season
NFL
for the
yet?
Giants.
Was the NFL yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
Oh, I see where you were going. He was playing for the Giants, but not in the NFL. Yeah, no, it had been the NFL already.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Right.
No, but my favorite team back then, because hey, it's every little kid likes Dolphins. I liked the Dolphins. But my first memory of ever watching a game was watching the Pittsburgh Steelers completely dismantle that team on the field in the playoffs. And
you're talking about the Dolphins.
Yes, dismantled it. And from there on in, I was a Pittsburgh fan up until Bradshaw and company all pretty much en masse retired.
Yeah.
And then that's when I became a Giants fan. So I've not been a lifelong Giants fan like Johnny over there. I was a small kid bandwagon Pittsburgh fan, and I owned everything Steelers back then. So yeah, that probably my earliest. When was your earliest football memory? It had to be a Giants memory.
Just of course.
Is it a YA Tittle?
YA Tittle, yeah. YA Tittle. What was YA? What did YA stand for, by the way?
Didn't just stand for YA.
No,
it's not like BJ Honeycutt.
It's not like BJ Honeycutt. No, not at all. Or the S in Harry S. Truman, right?
Just stood for S.
S, right.
Yelburton
Abraham.
Yelburton
Abraham Tittle. That was his name.
So everyone just will go around yelling Burton.
Yeah. So anyway, my earliest memory's got to be, I mean, it's a Giants memory.
When they drafted Danny Dimes.
No, yeah, that's my earliest memory. Right? No, it's probably Fran. Probably watching Fran scramble around.
Pre-Vikings.
Sitting on a Sunday, well, post and pre-Vikings.
Post and pre,
yeah.
But you're old enough that you were watching him pre-Viking.
And whatchamacallit, yeah, scramble around and just, I mean, he ran. I mean, Fran Tarkenton probably ran about, 2, maybe 3,000 yards per game. Most of it
side to side, yeah,
side to side, just north and south. But in any event, no, that was Fran's got to be my one of my earliest memories of watching the Giants and everything else. Your favorite team, you already said it. My next question would have been favorite team or other earlier memories. You obviously were Pittsburgh, and then once that whole entire dynasty retired, you were out. I'm going local.
And I went local for the season just in time to see Herb Edwards scoop up a fumble on a kneel where they're supposed to kneel the ball.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, I got something for you.
Yeah, where is it?
There you go.
There it is.
Actually, I got this for you too.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what I thought you were going for. Where is he? There's a big prop for tomorrow.
Doink. Right there.
It is.
Right there.
Yeah.
I've actually used this a couple times for the Mets this past weekend, but that's the point.
Yeah, so Pisarcik getting bowled over, dropping the ball, Herm Edwards picking it up. That was the first season I was a Giants fan.
Who was he handing off to or trying to attempt to hand off to?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Number 39.
39. Who was 39 back then?
Well, John? you were earlier on. You were liking the Dolphins, and then you watched the Steelers dismantle them. And this particular play. No, that would be
Marky Morris was.
Yeah, that would be Mr. Larry Zonka.
I forgot that the Zonk came to
East Rutherford. Yes, he did. Zonka was on the Giants, but and I got to tell you something about that game. I was actually at it.
So you're the curse.
I was at that game. Yeah, I watched 6 rather large men hold my father back from throwing everything in the section onto the field at Joe.
Oh, is that where you get it from?
From the upper deck, mind you.
Yeah,
nothing left his hands. We're good there.
You usually don't get too physically violent. Yours is just mostly words, lots and lots of loud.
That is not my earliest at the stadium memory, though. My earliest at the stadium memory is of well, not my earliest. Or I'll say it like this: an earlier at Giant Stadium memory is of I guess the end of '76 was the first season at Giant Stadium. Craig Morton was the quarterback.
Oh, wow.
And he, I forget whether he fumbled or he threw an interception. It was the end of the game, and the Giants went, I don't know, like -3 and 90, that year. So it's very, 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 very good year that year. Anyway,
my first game.
Hold on. Craig Morton stood in the center of that field, and everybody in the stands was booing him. He gave the finger to the entire stadium. He walked off the field. The Giants traded him to Denver, and what did he do that year? He took Denver to the Super Bowl.
And they lost.
And they lost to the Cowboys. So,
yes.
Yeah, that instilling more hatred in me for the Cowboys because by
typical. My first memory at Giant Stadium was watching the Giants play the Vikings in a scintillating 3-3 tie.
Yep.
That got a good nap in.
There you go.
Should have brought a book.
You should have brought Tara's book.
Yeah.
Could
have read it yet.
I don't think she was born yet.
Very possible she wasn't born yet. And I think the next time I saw them was another. I think it was the second time I saw them was another tie. I was in the Tiffany booth.
Well, fair enough.
Tiffany has a private booth there, and watched them play the Cardinals, which I think was a 10-10 tie. So another yawner.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. And what's your okay? So that would be. Ironically, you and I are jumping ahead of the questions that I had for you. I was just going to say, what is your most significant NFL up close and personal memory that you have? So
up close and personal memory that I have.
Most significant, not earliest. Most significant In other words, not just something you watched on TV or you
Well,
know you were a fan and they did this. You were there. You saw it. What was it?
There's kind of it's kind of a tie. This one was significant most to the Giants and Giants fans, and I forget what season it was, but I think it was Eli's first Super Bowl. And what it was we were very, very cold. Very cold. We're in the end zone, and there's a pile up at the line, and there's a giant down, writhing in pain. We can see it's 0. And at the time, because he was playing so well, we was hoping it was Eli, because he was just awful until we hit the playoffs. Turned out it was Shockey. And it was the best thing that ever happened to Eli because it took that. Because at the time, he was such an arrogant ass and such a voice in the huddle that Eli never got a word in. This is just all conjecture, of course. But once Shockey was out of there, Eli came alive. And they went to the Super Bowl that year. The other one was another Super Bowl season, and it was towards the end of the season. We were playing the Cowboys and spanking them. And there was 2 Cowboys fans sitting in front of us. In front of them was two Giants fans. And they're kind of it's a little back and forth between them and the Cowboys fans. It's good natured to begin with. And there's an older guy over there, and he's not as good natured about it. And finally, as the Giants really start destroying the Cowboys, the 2 Giant fans start turning kind of nasty. I mean, really nasty. And I'm starting to get a little pissed off because I kind of hate that shit. So I tap the 2 Cowboys fans on the shoulder. They snap around real quick because they're now on edge. I'm like, no, it's okay. I need to speak to those 2. So I tap them on the shoulder. They turn around. Like, gentlemen, can I ask you something? Can you stop? Because this is in Philadelphia. We're not Eagles fans. We're kicking the crap out of the Cowboys right now. There's no need to be assholes about it. And I turned, and the old guy's looking at me, and I just went. He went. The 2 Giants fans, to their credit, went. He's right. Offered to buy the Cowboys fans drinks. Is my apology, because I've never liked that kind of trash talking.
Not at all. No, I hate. I never do that.
Hate it. And the guy I was with, he's like, because I had done something similar at a college game we'd gone to, and he's actually not from Jersey, he's from Oregon. He goes, it's funny. He's like, because I love it when you go Jersey. It's like that actually wasn't going Jersey. That was going anti-Jersey on Jersey.
Anyway, pretty much.
Yeah, it was. But those are probably the 2 significant memories I have at a live game.
Gotcha. Me, on the other hand. You asked?
Yeah, I was going to say. I knew you were going to go there. Oh, were you one of those guys that I had to talk to?
No, I'll throw it out there because I know I've mentioned it. I know I've said this on the sports podcast a couple of times. I think I might have mentioned this last year, but I'll say it again. My most significant NFL up close and personal memory was. And there have been many over the years. I was at Taylor's first game. I was at Phil Simms' first game. I was at Eli's first game. I was at, but the thing that's the most significant to me was I was at the Monday Night Football game in October, towards the end of October. I forget it might have been the 26th, somewhere in there. It was towards the end of October, 1986. Monday Night Football game where the Giants were playing the Redskins. And they're now the Commanders, but then they were the Redskins. So they were playing the Redskins. They weren't playing the Commanders because the Commanders didn't exist. They were playing the Redskins.
Joe Theismann was behind center.
He was not.
Oh no, this was
Jay Schrader. Jay Schrader was behind because the year before Taylor broke Heisman's leg and ended his career.
Theismann.
It's
supposed to be pronounced Theismann. He changed it to Theismann to rhyme with Heisman when he got into college.
There you go. Well, it was spelled the same way as Heisman, just put a T in front of it.
Yeah, but it's not before E, except that. Oh, no.
Anyway, so back to that now. It's like a circle.
Yes.
So anyway, the Giants were playing the Redskins on Monday Night Football. It just so happens that was also Game 7 of the 1986 World Series. Okay, so now I, like everybody else and every other Met fan, watched the ball go through Buckner's legs in Game 6 the night before, right? And of course, I wanted to watch Game 7, but I was going to the Giant game. So there's 8 of us sitting in our seats, and there were 2 little tiny portable black and white TVs, and we all had radios. So we were listening to the radio feed Okay, we were watching the little tiny portable TVs, like 4 of us around one and 4 of us around another, and looking up at the game too. Every time there was a play on the field, we watched it and then went right back to the World Series. You know,
You probably weren't the only ones.
Oh no, the whole stadium was, and because it's East Rutherford, right? So there was either for the most part, for probably 90+% of the stadium were either Mets fans or Yankees fans, right? So the Mets wanted the Mets to win. And the Yankees wanted the Mets to win.
Because they hate Boston.
Right. So, which we got in the middle of the third quarter, they actually stopped play on the field. Stopped, not in the middle of a play, mind you. When a play was over, they stopped play on the field. And it was a good 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, something like that. They stopped play on the field to announce that the Mets were the world champions. And we had already known it because we were listening and everything. But the entire stadium erupted and everything else. I didn't see Jesse Orozco throw his mitt in the air until later that night on like a news broadcast, a late night news broadcast when we got back. But that's an awesome memory because I'm at my favorite football team's game, which they won. They beat the Redskins that night, and then went on to win the Super Bowl that year. Yeah, and my favorite baseball team won the World Series. So that was that's my most significant.
It's a great year.
It was a good year. So.
Had to wait another 8 years for your favorite hockey team to win the championship.
That would be correct.
Yes.
Another. Well, 7.5.
7.5, yes.
Kind of
different season.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we know he's waiting. We should bring him on.
Who are you talking about?
We have a fellow Giant fan who's listening and waiting to come on and talk to us a little bit about what happens in the parking lots. He's talked about it before, but we're going to go a different route this time with it. Mm-hmm. Well, we want to see what his new toy is.
Well, I want to see what his new toy is, and I want to throw these couple of questions at him too, and then we'll move on.
If you notice, the color of my beard changed.
The color of your beard changed. Wait, Rising Tide changed into a dark beer?
Yeah. I just have some Coca-Cola to it.
Oh, so you made one of those floats.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
This does look like Coca-Cola, though, doesn't it? The color of this?
It actually does. But
it is actually it's from Mechanical, because on my way back from Hamilton, we stopped at
Hamilton.
I keep saying it wrong. Hamilton. And it's funny because when I had texted you "good place to eat," I had spoken to the phone Hamilton, and it garbled it, and you assumed Hamilton, but we were in Hamilton when you answered, so that actually helped. That worked.
There you go. That worked.
So we went to blend Burger Bar and Bistro, right? Something like that. What's it called?
Blend Bar and Bistro.
Bistro. I put the burger in there because I had a burger. It's really fucking
there you
good.
Go. So,
but I'm having the Momentum Mild, which you drank on the show, right?
I did drink that on the show. Yes.
So, and a previous guest on the show, Leia, was there, and she's just as short as she looks on the camera.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if Matt and I were there several weeks ago, we actually took a picture with her. We had to kneel because it would have been here, and she's here. Yeah. So it was, anyway. So we got a guest. We got a special guest we'd like to bring on the show. If that's okay with everybody.
I didn't hear anybody complain.
All right. So welcome to the show, Mr. Brian Boak. How are you, Mr. Brian Boak?
Hello. How are you today?
I am good.
Nice chair.
Special football beer guest, Brian Boak. There you go. So
and pet.
Yeah, Jessie always barks. She wants to come down and play with Daddy, but
there you go. Let her down.
Yeah, let her down. Come on. We let dogs in the show.
There you go. So this is becoming a tradition now. So every year we got to do the football kickoff with you, sir. So
well, that's cool.
All right. So I got a couple questions for you really quick. Dave and I, where you've been watching, so you obviously know what we were talking about. What's your earliest NFL memory?
Watching football with my dad in our house in Rockland County.
There you go. And when I said before about Fran Tarkin and scrambling around, I was of course watching it with my dad.
Because you couldn't drive yet. It was another year or two before you could drive.
Right. So that's awesome. And your favorite team's always been the Giants. There were no other teams that
No, I never cheated. No.
hey. Like the number on your jersey there, Mr. Boak.
Thank you. I know you guys talked about Shockey before, And
There we go. There's it.
and I actually have a Shockey jersey, and then Shockey got traded. I was like, forget this. I'm never getting another current player's jersey. So I went out and got a Carl Banks jersey,
Very nice.
There you go.
which we have close ties to because he launched his line of tailgating food at our tailgate.
Nice.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
So,
Gotta love it.
yep.
Yeah, I have a number of, obviously Lawrence Taylor, Mark Bavaro, Phil Simms. I don't have Harry Carson. I do want to get a Harry Carson. That's one I do have to get.
Yeah, I would get a Carson jersey. Yes,
I actually did have a Hostetler, this jersey, Hostetler Super Bowl 25 jersey. Obviously, you can both guess what happened to that jersey.
That went up in flames.
A little bit.
Not intentionally.
No. But the problem with that one is, who the hell is going to have a Hostetler jersey, right? Unless I actually custom make the damn thing, I'm never getting that back. So
correct.
yeah. So, but in any event, what was the first? What's your most significant up close and personal event that you were there at Giant Stadium or any for the Giants or whatever NFL experience?
Well, I mean, the most upfront and personal is actually when Carl Banks decided to launch his tailgating food at our tailgate. Now that's up close and personal.
That's super up close.
Because to give you an idea, I actually, let me see.
There you are.
There you go.
There. So how's that? Is that up close and personal with Carl?
That's pretty up close and personal. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So I would say
you're literally rubbing elbows.
Yeah.
Correct. I would say,
Yeah.
and that's a famous 58 Chef's jersey that I have that's autographed. So
That's nice.
Very nice. And for those people who are listening, if you haven't figured it out, it's a picture of Brian and Carl. Brian, you're holding something that looks really yummy in that picture.
That would be a rack of ribs.
That's what it looked like. So,
Yep.
And standing next to him, rubbing elbows, is the aforementioned Carl Banks.
Carl Banks.
Yes.
Absolutely. There you go. What are you drinking there, by the way, Brian?
I am drinking Ramstein's Summerbach.
Yes.
Very nice.
We Greg
I have
was
a
on the
keg
show
of
a few
that.
weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, he told me. Yeah, I have a keg of that and a keg of the Amber, and they kegged Oktoberfest for me today. So I'll go up later this week and pick that up. So
Speaking of, we're going there this weekend, aren't we, John?
I'm not going to be able to. I have.
Now you're not going.
I can't. I have a family thing that I have to go to. It was actually postponed from August, and I got to go.
Fall weekends.
There might be a way that I could go there super early, like get there right at noon and stay for an hour or two and then bail. I might be able to do that, so we can talk about that. So.
Yeah, we'll talk about that because if you aim for right at 12, it'll be 12:45, and you're not going to get
it. No. I got to aim for right at 12. No. It's the only way it's going to work. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So, but in any event, cool. Well, we'll talk about that. But yeah, this Saturday is the Oktoberfest release.
Yes.
There. So that's
we plan on going up and covering it.
Right. Wasn't there another event that his New York sales and marketing guy wanted us to go to in Staten Island?
Yeah, that would be in Staten Island, but I would rather go up to Bloomfield than to the Isle of Staten.
Yes.
Butler.
Well, it's close to Bloomfield.
It's
right near. Not Bloomfield. Not
Bloomingdale.
Bloomingdale. There you go. We have too many towns.
It's got a bloom in it.
We got too many towns in the state that start off the same exact way or end the same exact way.
Correct.
Well, what about like if I'm down like when I went down to see Leah down at Mechanical, I'm talking to somebody sitting at the bar. Where are you from? I say Belmar. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
No, not
right
Belmar.
Or then there's Morristown down there, and we got Morristown up here.
Morristown and Morristown. Yeah, exactly. So
it's a confusing state.
It's very confusing. So anyway, okay. Both of you. I know we talked about this last year, but I brought you on at this point for this reason. Favorite players. Obviously, Dave, we know yours. Brian, go first. Refresh our memory who your favorite player is and give us a quick little story.
It has to be Giants?
No, it can be anybody. Quick NFL player, your
Probably
favorite
Giants.
NFL player. I'm sure it's all going to be Giants, right? But quick little story about him, whether it's memory you have of him or an interaction you might have had or whatever.
Well, obviously Carl Banks has got to be there because I have the closest, best proximity memory of him of actually coming to our tailgate and doing all of that stuff. So that was cool. LT, just the ultimate player, just hardcore. I do football, I win. That's my goal. So those are the two top ones
out there, like a pack of angry dogs.
Wild dogs.
Right. No, it's my job is to win the game. That's all my job is, and I will just do it, and hell be damned.
Exactly. Dave, yours?
Well, obviously,
Mark Bavaro, but
Bavaro's one of them. And a quote about Mark Bavaro from Parcells is, "Man, that's one. What was it? He is one mean-looking guy. I'd hate to meet him in an alley." That Bavaro, and just the way he played the game and the play where he just carried 49ers, 32 yards up the field, something like that.
I don't think it was that far, but it was damn close to that. Yeah,
it was close. I think the overall play was 32 yards, but I think he dragged them 17. And at work, there was a guy who was a huge San Francisco fan. We had Spirit Day. I wore my Bavaro jersey. He wore his Ronnie Lott jersey. And he goes, "You think people would find it weird if I just hung on your back all day long and you just took me everywhere?" This is coming from the 49er fan.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
Well, that was the thing about Bavaro. When you talk, you can bring up almost any other Giant to, fans of other teams, and they're like, that guy sucked. LT, right? They'll complain about LT that I use coke and had young girls, and all that. But you bring up Bavaro to other they're like, man, that guy was a beast. No one ever has a bad thing to say about Bavaro.
That's true,
right? So he's one of them, and then Bavaro's little sidekick was one of my favorite players because he was just so nuts. Was Phil McConkey, right? This guy did not know what the fair catch was, and I don't know if Leon Bright schooled him on that to just never fair catch a ball, but the shots that him and Leon Bright, took fielding punts. And somehow or another still popped up and ran off the field and held on to the ball.
Like the Energizer Bunny or the Timex watch, took a licking and kept on ticking.
Yeah. But then McConkey had that touchdown in the Super Bowl that went off Bavaro.
Yep.
Right. He had that tip ball. So McConkey was always a favorite just because he looked like the everyday guy off the street.
He was.
With a porn stash.
Well,
right?
I mean, the time,
it was the stash of the day.
It worked. It worked that way. But geez, mine. It's hard. I mean, my favorite. I mean, Taylor and Bavaro are pretty much tied for me. But there's so many, right? I mean, I can't. It's hard to just distinguish one. But I will say that I probably was in the company of Lawrence Taylor more than any other Giant, and for the most part, pretty much after he was done, towards the tail end. And then after he was done, remember LT's in East Rutherford. I'd been there, a couple of times with him, and Manny's too in Carlstadt a couple of times. I wasn't there with him. I was there, and he was there, and we were together, and we had conversations and talked and have a couple drinks or whatever. But I wasn't like part of his entourage, mind you. But it got to the point where he would recognize me.
That guy again.
Yeah,
the bar flies back.
This guy, he's everywhere I go. What the hell?
He's stalking me.
Right.
Hey, security, come here.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He was a good guy. He would talk to you. He was a nice guy. But no, it's a couple. I mean, like Carl Banks a couple times. Really nice guy. As Brian obviously can attest to. And never met Bavaro though. Never met Mark Bavaro. Those were. But I could tell you some LT stories, but. I probably shouldn't. So anyway, all right. We'll start with you, Brian. What do you think the Giants are going to do this year?
I expect them to break 500. I don't want to go any further than that. I really hope that Daniel Jones has a breakout year. and I believe he can with new coaching and team players behind the new coaches, change of atmosphere, all of that. I believe it's going to be a good year. I am not saying that they're going to win the division or anything like that. Because I'm not high on anything. But I believe that they'll
literally and figuratively.
Yes. I believe they'll do well compared to previous years. And I think the defense is really going to help them out.
Fair enough. All right. Samurai?
Well, it's been hard watching this team over the past
Really?
number of years.
Really?
It has been. So I looked at a few things. And on Facebook, something popped up from the Sports Drop, and the Sports Drop was like prognosticating every team's record.
Right.
And this is what they had to say at the end about the Giants. The games against Panthers, Bears, Texans, and Lions at home are winnable, as are road games with the Jaguars and Seahawks. However, the Giants don't have a quarterback, so it's hard to be too optimistic. That is
Who said that?
Let's be Sports Drop. And they said 5-12. Said 5-12, which is pretty brutal. But there's a few things that make me a little more optimistic for the season. And one of them is watching this season and watching Lindor come into his own on the Mets. When they first got him, everyone thought he was a bust and gave up too much for him, whatever. And he's just had an amazing season. So is there hope that Danny Dimebag will come pull his head out of his ass and start throwing to the right team? That would be nice. You know, there's always those conspiracy theories that he might be colorblind, and that's part of the problem. Who knows? But maybe he will, as Brian says, have a breakout year this year, and maybe they don't need a new quarterback. That's awful. That's awfully hard to swallow. But hey, if he does, fine. You know, remember how rough it was when Eli started, right? But it wasn't as rough as long as it's been with Danny.
No, not at all.
And he didn't come in as hyped as Danny, even though he was a Manning, because everyone was kind of pissed off at the strings Archie pulled to get him on the Giants. So he kind of came in.
I wasn't.
But here's a quote that actually also makes me optimistic for this year. And you'll probably recognize who said this. Last year was more like, dang, the game was taken away from me. I never had a season where I didn't go and play football. Now it's a kill mindset. Second, now it's like, you know what? Fuck everybody. I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to let the world feel me.
Saquon said that.
Saquon is so juiced to come back. And if he goes off, then all Danny's got to do is hand the ball off and every now and then throw a pass to either nobody or our team and let, to keep the defense honest so that Saquon can rack up yard after yard after yard.
And I think he'll do well this year.
Yeah, yes, I do too. I think this is going to be his, if not, I don't think it's going to be his best year because I don't think anybody's matching. I don't think anybody can match his first year.
I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Me could, but you know what? If it's the second best year, I'm happy. But I think it can be better than the second best year, but not quite as, you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with that. But
yeah, I still don't see them breaking 500 this year.
No.
No, I've got 7-10.
All right.
Hey,
it's better than last year.
Hey, 7 is.
I don't know. Last
still,
5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe combined? No.
Okay.
That's too far off.
So here's mine. Look, it's quite obvious with the draft capital they have in next year's draft, and the fact that Tyrod Taylor's there, that if for some reason Daniel Jones by game 4 or 5, maybe 6, somewhere in there, is just, it's obvious that no matter what they do, no matter who's the coach, no matter who's the receivers, no matter who's the offensive line, because the offensive line is improved. Are they a brick wall? No. Are they the offensive line when the Giants won any of the 4 Super Bowls? No. But they're markedly improved than they have been over what they've been, I should say.
It's not saying
over the last, right. But enough that a good quarterback can can make that work. Okay, look at what Joe Burrow did last year. Cincinnati Bengals offense line was kind of shitty. All right, and he went to the Super Bowl. So a good quarterback can make that line work. What they have to work with now, a good quarterback can make that line work. If by game 4, 5, 6, somewhere in there, Tyrod Taylor's coming in, writing's on the wall, Danny Jones is out, and they're moving up or whatever they got to do to trade up to get the quarterback in the draft. I don't even know if there is, another. I mean, I don't even know if there is another Mac Jones out there, let alone another Peyton Manning or anything like that, but or Trevor Lawrence or whatever. But in any event, that's what they'll have to do. But in any event, I hope that, because I really was a believer in him even after 2 seasons ago, because he got hurt and he was doing it right well, and 2 seasons ago I actually did go out and I bought a throwback colors, not throwback jersey, throwback colors Daniel Jones jersey. Well, the white one, the ones they use for the throwback day, right? So the white.
I know what you're saying, but
right. So I bought that. So if he's gone, when am I ever going to wear that damn jersey, right? So, but beyond that, just team wise, I obviously hope he does well. I think they're going to go, and I think you're right. You're both absolutely right. Saquon's going to have a killer year. I really, knock on wood, really believe that. I honestly think they're going to. I agree with Brian. I think they're going to break 500. I think they're going to just break 500. They're going 9-8. 9-8. That's mine. That's where I'm at. 9-8.
There's only 4 games that I care about, though.
Dallas and Philly.
Those 4. Mm-hmm. If they go 4-13 and they win those 4 games,
it's a winning season.
It's a winning season.
You got to pick and choose your battles.
Exactly. Look, you know what? I mean, the bottom line is I went through the whole schedule. They can, with the team they have, if the right plays are called and the right packages are in each play, they can go 9-8. They can go 9-8. They can go 9-8.
And as we've seen, 9-8 can win the division.
It's
unfortunately,
the Giants almost won the division 2 years ago at 6-10. If they had gotten to 6-10,
well, even with my prediction of 7-10, they could win the division.
Right. All right, really quick before we go on to our top 3s, who's winning the division? Brian.
Dallas.
Philly.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Philly's winning the division. I mean, it might be by a game, but they're winning the division.
And it's real hard for me to say that because
Same here.
my ex-son-in-law is a Dallas fan, and he turned my granddaughter to a Dallas fan.
Oh, that's just no.
So it's hard. It's very hard.
If you need help, let me know. I'm there with you. We'll whatever form of help you need. Let me know.
And just, this may or may not be related. I'm really into geocaching, so I know a lot of good hiding spots. I don't know I don't know how that.
But, hey, I got my daughter to divorce him at least. At least I did that part.
Well, there you go.
You got it. Went to the court, and the judge said, "Well, why do you want to divorce him?" She said he's a Cowboys fan, and he granted her everything she wanted.
Gavel on the block. Yeah, absolutely done.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I think I'm here. It's not like I like Philly by any means. Obviously, I'm a Giants fan. Of course, I don't. I was a Giants fan that was rooting for the Patriots when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, right? But as most of us were, I'm pretty sure. But it
was
that's a hard toss up. That's a very hard toss up.
Right? Exactly.
It's a hard toss up. But as a Giants fan, you're doing it so that the Giants are the only team that ever beat them.
Correct.
Ever beat what's his name?
Brady
in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Right.
That was one of the main reasons I was rooting really hard for them.
So, but the reason I say that is I honestly do think, and it's not just a hatred thing. I know obviously many Giants fans hate Dallas and Philly, but a lot more for some reason I've noticed lately a lot more hate Philly more than they hate Dallas. I'm way on the opposite. I hate Dallas more than I hate Philly. I just do.
I
So-
hate Philly fans more than
Well,
I
it's a
hate
different story.
Dallas fans.
Yes, I'm with
Mhm.
Brian on that one. I hate the Philly fans more. Than the Dallas fans.
I've been to Philly games in Philly.
However, there are more Dallas Cowboys players that I admire than there are Eagles players.
Fair enough.
Of course.
The Eagles,
yeah, hands
the
down.
Eagles, it's really just Reggie White and Jaworski because I'm Polish. Other than that, I couldn't care less about any of the rest. But you look at the Cowboys, Staubach, Randy White. I loved the way Randy White played the game.
Sure.
Right? There's so many. Emmitt Smith.
I mean, Aikman to a point.
To a point, yeah.
I
Unfortunately, now we got.
I think he's a great broadcaster.
Just get Joe Buck the hell out of there.
I think Joe Buck's head up that far up his ass.
You think that helps with his broadcasting?
did hurt his broadcasting, and he was still a good broadcaster.
His voice got a little higher.
A little bit. Yeah. But no, you're right. There's plenty of Dallas players that I admire, look up to, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Not look up to, but respect.
And I'm losing the tight end.
Which one? Daryl Johnston or
no.
Jason Witten?
Witten. Just basically he would kill you.
Mm-hmm.
It is 3rd and 3. You know where Aikman's going with the ball, and you still can't stop it.
Well, Dak Prescott's doing that now with Schultz.
Yeah.
Schultz is getting the ball. Put somebody on him. Nope. He's got it first down.
But with Witten, you could put someone on him. It still didn't matter.
But anyway.
All right.
Enough Dallas talk.
Mm-hmm.
So 10-7, 9-8, 7-10. That's where we're going, right? That's our guesses.
Yep.
Okay.
That's our prognostication, so to speak.
Prognostications.
There you go. All right. Let us move on to our top threes. The reason we're here, other than the Giants talk, and the main reason, obviously, on the Craft Beer Podcast, we're talking about tonight's top three list is top 3 favorite tailgate foods. Top 3 favorite tailgate foods. Foods to eat at tailgate. Tailgate foods. There you go. All right. Let us start with Mr. Boak, please.
The king of the tailgate.
The king of the tailgate. The king of the Giants tailgate. Kick us
So,
off.
as you know, we have an ultimate tailgate party that not only launched Carl Banks' line of tailgating food, but has been on the Rachel Ray show, has been on the My Nine pregame show, the Giants pregame show, on a Taco Bell commercial, on the Jumbotron lots of times, is generally, even with losing seasons, probably 40 to 50 people at a tailgate, and with winning seasons, 75 to 100 people. So these 3 are 3 items that I cook every year on particular times. So first we go to John Madden's Ultimate Tailgating Cookbook to go pull out the killer stew recipe. Stew. I make stew for the last game of the year, which is generally the coldest game. Yeah. And I start with 10 pounds of meat and 10 pounds of potatoes and a couple pounds of onions, couple pounds of carrots and stewed tomatoes and beer and garlic and celery and tons of other stuff. It's just a monster stew that I hope nobody eats because I want it left over for the rest of the winter.
I've had it. It's good.
Actually, you'd have leftovers if you invited me. I am not a stew fan. I've had.
I love stew. I love stew. I grew up on stew. I love stew. I'll eat stew. I'll eat stew in the summer. I love stew.
Yeah. So the next interesting one that I make is what's called bacon explosion.
You had me at bacon.
Yeah. So basically,
just that bacon.
What you do is you take now I make my own bacon.
You slaughter the pig and.
I know I have somebody else do that for me, but I get the belly. I cure the belly. I smoke it, and I carve it up.
I would make a lot of bacon.
So I start with a pound of bacon and lay it out in a weave. And then I take 2 pounds of sausage. And the sausage I get is from my brother who lives in North Carolina, who's got a friend who makes sausage. So it's like a breakfast sausage that you spread out over that. Then you take another pound of bacon and you chop it up and fry it up nice and crispy and spread it out over that. And then can somebody mute that fire truck?
Well, the thing is, the fire started when you started talking about bacon. But
so you take that other pound of bacon and you fry it up nice and crispy, and you spread it out over that layer, and then you put some barbecue sauce on there, and then you roll it up so it becomes like a log, like a meatloaf almost. And then you put it in the smoker for about 2 hours. And then you slice it like meatloaf.
I've got a question for you. At this tailgate, do you have defibrillators?
Yes, and we have a doctor.
That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes. And then the next one we do, which is another special event, which is usually for either the Eagles game or the Thanksgiving game, is a deep fry a 20-pound turkey.
There you go.
At the game. And those are my 3 famous tailgate foods, which are not like anybody else's, because a lot of other people, it's like, yeah, we cook burgers and dogs, or we bring Subway sandwiches, or maybe we do bratwurst or something. Nah, I can't go. That's maybe pregame, maybe preseason. I can do like boiled sausages in beer with onions. I can do that, but other than that, I got to go a little crazy.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right, Samurai.
Well, for those of us that don't have a huge grill, smoker, burner setup, there's nothing better than going to the Italian deli, getting some sort of Italian sandwich, be it the prosciutto and mousse, make it a Godfather by putting the roasted red peppers on it, or an Italian hoagie, or something like that. I love having a nice big sandwich at a game. If you don't have somebody that's got fire to do stuff with. So I want to throw that in there. Shout out the sandwiches that Brian said he'd never do, but unless it's preseason. But no, gotta love a sub at a game.
There you go.
And John and I have done that one of the Mets games. Lots of chips and sandwiches. So
I think we had a lot of something else too while we were there.
We had a lot of beer.
Beer.
There was beer, and we had beer in it as well.
Sure.
And then I had to go with something that might find in a pot. And if you do have flame and you can cook something in a pot, what's a tailgate without chili?
Chili, good idea.
You've got to make everybody who's sitting behind you really sorry that they're sitting behind you during the game. That's what chili's for. And if you have dogs, it's something to slather it on. That works too, right?
Yeah.
But the other one, and I think it's the first time I've ever mentioned it on the show. I make my own spice rub. I still have to get John a jar of it. Did I ever get you a jar of it?
Never.
I got to make the new batch is coming soon.
Yeah.
But
I'll trade you some beer for a jar when I get my fermenter up and running.
There we go. Because I've got I make a spice rub called She Devil. And the She is an acronym for sweet, hot, and earthy. And when you put this stuff on wings and then you grill those wings, I've known people who've done that and then fried it. Like, no, you're doing it wrong. No, you've got to grill them. If you're gonna fry the wings, then put it on afterwards. Don't put it on then fry it. One, you're going to destroy your oil in your fryer, but also some of the ingredients in it, which are all secret, really don't do well when they're fried. So, but put it over, grill these things, and that would be my number one: the She Devil hot wings.
She Devil hot wings. There you go.
Yep. Dry rub hot wings.
Wings are great. Yep.
There you go. All right.
That's off to you, Johnny. And I did not steal your number one.
No, you didn't. You stole my number 3, actually, but it's a little bit there. Anyway, so my number 3, chili. Chili. I make a couple of different chilies. I make a red chili. Obviously, your standard, meat, beans.
That's the only way I make chilies. The red chili.
Yeah, meat, beans, peppers, onions, everything I put in it. A couple of different beans. But yeah, I'll make my red chili. I'm actually going to make a batch for this Sunday for the kickoff. But I make chili several times a year. I also make a green chili, and I usually don't make that until it gets a little cooler. I use pork goes in that, not beef. Pork goes in that with whatchamacallit, obviously peppers, and cilantro goes in it too. If you don't like cilantro, you're not gonna like mine, but it's a little bit more of a kick. There's a couple of things I put in it that are, as Dave's she-devil rub is proprietary, so I won't say what I throw in there. But I make a green chili too. But I'll also make a couple of times. Back when I tailgated all the time, I haven't really, other than 1 or 2 games here and there over the last several years, haven't really tailgated a lot in a while. But I'll make soup a couple times too.
Yeah.
Make a couple big hearty soups as it gets colder, obviously too.
And you know who makes a good white chili?
Who's that?
Brian Altschul.
He does. He's brought that over before.
That's delicious.
We've had a couple of football. A couple of Super Bowl parties actually, where I made my green chili, somebody made a red chili, and he made his white chili, and we
the flag of Italy.
It was flag of Italy, right? Exactly. That's my number 3. My number 2 is harkens back to the '80s, where at least twice a year there was 8 of us, obviously going our season tickets at the fire department. We all had our tickets, going up to our seats in the old Giant Stadium, which to this day, as we mentioned before, I miss that stadium, but
prefer it, yeah.
But we used to at least twice a year. We used to get a shell of beef and lobster tails, and we make surf and turf, and we cut the steaks right there. How thick you want your steak? We cut it right there and make surf and turf right in the parking lot. That's we obviously haven't done that in years, but that's something that, anytime I think about tailgating at a Giants game, when we used to tailgate all the time, that was awesome when we used to do that. It was really, we'd pull people over because we'd have more than just 8 of us. We'd get a whole shell. We're not eating that whole shell, 8 of us with the tails. So come on over, come on, eat, come on.
Straight ball on it at the stadium.
Exactly. And then my number 1, and Dave knows it, obviously, bratwurst. I'm a sucker for bratwurst. I'll eat bratwurst every day in the fall.
But that is, as Brian said, it is a sausage. You put it in beer and onions.
Right.
You boil it, but then you put it on the grill until it breaks open.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Got to crack them open.
It's got to crack open.
Got to crack open.
Or it's not done.
It's got to rip open.
Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I mentioned geocaching earlier. There's a geocache just placed at Rutt's Hut.
At Rutt's Hut. There you go.
Yeah.
But bratwurst, and I mean, you can even throw in, like, if you want to make an honorable mention for that number 1, Italian sausage and peppers. That works for me too. But bratwurst,
I had an honorable mention for like something in a pot, and it's you have to admire those people that do a jambalaya.
Very nice.
Yep,
love a jambalaya.
Cool. Nice. Good. All right.
Okay, so before we go,
yep.
You ready for the little tour?
You got a new toy here.
So let's see.
I want the new toy.
So, okay, so last year I redid the basement. So let's see if we can do a little tour, if this will work. So we start out with a couple of.
Do I say Shocky?
That's Shocky.
Okay.
And then we have
Phil.
Mm-hmm.
You got a glare on this one, but that's LT.
56.
Yeah.
And then just a little bit of stuff, a little bit of banners, a little bit of Super Bowl stuff, a little bit of Boke stuff.
I've heard of them.
More Boke stuff. Kegerator, 4-tap kegerator.
With Bokes on it.
At Bokes and Ramstein.
You must know. You must know, but it says Bokes on it, so you must know somebody.
Yeah. And this is the new toy. Can you see that?
Very nice. That. It is a what do they call them? For men, right?
Fermenter. Yeah.
There you go.
So that is actually from Norway. That is a 21-gallon Brew Tools jacketed and heated conical fermenter.
Nice.
Very nice. I'm
so
sorry.
That's
Fabio. Very nice.
Up and running with a glycol system.
Very nice.
Jeez.
Did Mark
in your
install it?
garage.
So it's
Did Mark come over and install the glycol system, or you did?
no. I Jimmy rigged it. It's actually running off of my 42-year-old dorm refrigerator.
Oh, really? That's awesome. That's great.
Yes, my 42-year-old mini dorm refrigerator is going to run a glycol system.
That's funny.
And it got the temperature down to like 25 degrees.
Really?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny because you said Jimmy rigged. A lot of people say Jerry rigged, and either way, if you hate the Cowboys, they're both wrong.
So that's my latest toy that I got. I got it just over a week ago, and I've been playing with it. And in about probably about 3 weeks, I'm going to brew my first batch of beer in a while.
Gotcha.
Very nice.
Any
would it be like
secret? Do you know what you're brewing, or
would it be like what do you?
Yes. Yeah. No. Well, no. You don't go for the gusto right away when you're starting with new equipment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brew a beer I call Brown Magic, which is a 3.5% brown ale, an English mild.
Sure.
So low cost ingredients, easy. If I completely blow it, it's not too much cost. And if I hit a home run with it, it's a great beer to bring tailgating because it's 3.5% alcohol.
Exactly.
You could drink it all day.
It's a beautiful thing.
So
nice.
you don't want to bring Two Blind Monks or Monster Mash to a tailgate party.
No,
It just gets ugly quick.
Yeah, or Snow Monster. You don't want that.
Yeah, Snow Monster. Yeah. So.
That's it. You might want one, depending on what happens after the game, and if you're driving home afterwards, you might want one.
Yes, when you get home, you might want 3.
You might
because the Giants have the ability to figure out how to lose a game.
And actually, Danny's got a way of giving up the ball 3 times.
Exactly. All right. Anyway, all right.
So,
All right.
cool.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Stick around. Don't go anywhere. I'll do the outro. Is there anything else we want to talk about, Dave? We need to get anything. We did that before, right? With the brewery openings, everything's out.
Yeah, I think we covered everything we were thinking to cover today.
I think we're right. All right. So we did our NFL kickoff show. Brian, stick around. We'll talk to you for a couple seconds after we do the sign up. We want to thank you for watching the show. We'll wrap it up on that note. Thanks for watching the show today. We want to thank you if you're just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.loggerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Logger Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
We haven't gotten 6.
Around 6:30, give or take 7 o'clock, somewhere in there. But just in that neighborhood. Anyway.
In the ballpark.
It's the same day.
For those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Before I go, I never told you what I was drinking for my second beer right here. I just want to put it in because I want to thank Samurai for bringing it back. He had it on the show a couple weeks ago. It's Murder on the Mountain, the Black Kolsch.
How did you like that?
Bramari Brewing. It is fan-friggin-tastic. This is delicious.
First Black Kolsch ever that I've seen.
I poured this, and I was expecting at least a porter. Nope, it's a Kolsch. It's got a teeny little bit of. It's a Kolsch. It's really.
It's a brown
good.
Kolsch.
Yep,
it's a black. They call it a
black Kolsch.
Show them the color again of that thing.
Yeah. That's a Kolsch.
Yeah, that's a black Kolsch. Yeah,
black Kolsch.
It is, and it's got all the body, all the lightness of a Kolsch, but it's got all the roasts of a Schwartz.
So
it's funny how people look at dark beer and go, "Oh, that's heavy."
Right.
Yeah. People are, I won't drink Guinness. It's too heavy. Guinness is the consistency of water.
Yeah. Guinness is so friggin' light, it's ridiculous. But this is fantastic. So
nice.
Thank you for bringing it back. I appreciate it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Thank you.
When I first saw it on the menu, I'm like, I hope they can this because Johnny needs one of these.
I appreciate it. All the way from Asheville. Very nice. Bramari Brewing. That was awesome.
And the food there is amazing.
Yeah, we'll be done in next year. So Way to get there. Anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Watch football kickoff this Sunday.
Thursday.
The Giants are kicking off on Sunday. That's where I was going.
Yes.
The NFL season kicks off on Thursday. The Rams and the Bills are playing on Thursday night.
Who cares?
Rams and Bills.
Hey, it's
fans.
football. We all care.
It's football. It's my bowling league kicks off on Thursday night too. So we'll be bowling and watching football. So right back to it. So there you go.
Very nice.
Right back to it. So anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Cheers. By the way, next week we're going to have a couple of special things for you. So make sure you tune in next week. It's our 100th show, folks.
Ooh.
Our 100th
It is
show.
our 100th show, isn't it?
It's our 100th
You're going to have
show.
to let me know what these special things are.
I will.
honestly
I'm
have
actually a surprise for you too. So
I would say that I think that might all be surprised me because when
Yeah.
I go on our sheets, there's nothing listed for the show.
nope. I that was by design actually. So
No, not by laziness.
not by laziness. No. All right. Anyway, take care, folks. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care.